Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zen and Fanfics. Today we are featuring What If Deku Entered Dead by Daylight. The story is written by Springtrap 212332 on Wattpad. Before we start, please like and subscribe for more content. Now let's dive into the story. 3rd.O.V. A young boy is on his way home from school, hobbling in pain as his ribs would flare. With agony. Only, he would never make it. Someone had put him as a target, and he's about to be caught, and needle plunged into his neck from behind. His next memories were a shattered mosaic of images and sensations. Smearing lights, horse hoofs on cobblestone, coarse burlap, scratching at his cheeks, and sharp bites into his arm. He awoke ragged and unwashed, splayed on the straw mattress of an opium den, mind in a dense fog. His first thought was of his notes. The only record of his groundbreaking revelations of the entity, a supernatural being that traveled the multiverse, omnipotent in a way that was both horrifying as it was fascinating it. Maybe his only chance to be a hero. He searched frantically, scrambling through the dingy basement, pleading aloud for help. The few other denizens looked up from their hammocks, uttering nothing but drag-soaked eyes and apathetic gazes that soon fell into half-slumber. Before he noticed a robed figure appear behind him, a needle plunged into his arm and the world disappeared once more. Awoken. Again. Each time, hazier than the last. He tongued at hollow gaps between his teeth. How long, he wondered. A faint memory returned. His soul. Chemical. His notes. The verge of a breakthrough. A faraway whisper entered his mind. Right, young one, death is only the beginning. It said a lot more, but it was in a deurant language as the boy could no longer understand it. He fumbled with a stone, sharpening it with shaking hands. In the dim light of the den, amongst the catatonic occupants, he carved his research from memory into the walls. He carved glyphs for hours until his fingers bled, moving to the floor, taking in everything the voice whispered despite his inability to comprehend it. When there was nowhere left to write, he gripped the stone and carved the last glyph into his chest. Stained with blood, he witnessed a miracle appear before him, a magnificent field of lush orange flowers. The whispered voice beckoned to him, urging him to enter the field and discover worlds and dimensions beyond human comprehension. For a moment, he felt the sense of wonder he possessed as a younger child. 14 is way too young to die, and he may have just found a way to survive. No, thrive. The denizens of the opium den awoke to silence, the dry scent of smoke still lingering in the air. Shambling out of their drag-hazed fog, they found the stone floor wet, with blood, tiny rivulets coursing through the cracks. As eyes adjusted to the darkened room, the jagged lettering scrawled along its length began to appear, written over and over without. And there was but one single message. The entity was right. Death is only the beginning. My name is Izuku Yagi, and that boy was me. Izuku O.V. As I am pulled into the fog, I wander, looking for anything else than myself. I wander the bed of those orange flowers, and while I do, want to see what they are or what they could do. I first want to meet the entity that allowed me access. I come to a thicker part of the flowers and pass through, careful not to disturb the appealing arrangement of the flowers. In a thicket of thorns, I find a chair of thorns. There was a table of stone between it and a throne of skeletons. I sit in the smaller chair, despite my want to try the bigger chair. I shook the absurd longing. That was a skeleton of human bones, and I want to sit on it. I blinked and a person appeared. I couldn't see any details. They were a humanoid blob of darkness I couldn't see through and gave an aura of fear that had me almost leave my seat. Hello. Are you the entity? I ask. I try to ignore the fear its aura makes me feel. Yes, I am the entity. I've been watching you for a while since the Quirkless Inn. This world are much more scarce than the other worlds I've seen, and you have sewered more than most of them. I guided you to my glyphs. You managed to put it together. Its voice made the fear I was barely resisting double, and somehow I managed to keep a scream under control. Why would you do that, though? I saw your analysis books. Your analytical ability is impressive, and I have a deal for you. I feel most of my fear vanish as I start thinking of my books. My analysis of quirks. What kind of deal? You were right in my omnipotent power for the most part. I can grant anyone within my realm any powers I longing. I tend to keep them in line with a person's style. For example, a person who's really good with takedowns and stealth. Attack would get a power similar to it along with 3 passive perks. I want you to analyze my killers and make them better. In return, I will grant you a power, and if you excel well enough, I will increase that ability's strength in correspondence. How will you use your killers? I created a hide-and-seek game of killer trying to kill 4 survivors. Usually really CRP people in life. I eat emotions, so the fear, hate, and hope of potential escape makes me enough food to grow. Stronger, will you attack my world? I don't attack worlds. I take their serial killers and legends, like Jury Dahmer and a corresponding amount of survivors to play against them. I begin to think about how this will work. How many killers are there? 82. UA is in 10 months. I need a few days per killer, and based OU math, I'd have at most 3 days per one and have 2 months to train with my power, whatever that will be. I'll take your deal. The aura I was resisting vanishes, and the blackness hiding its appearance vanishes as I get a good look at Ither. I was surprised at how normal she looked. Besides a spider-like form, she looked like a really pale woman of royal stature. We shake hands, and suddenly I was in a comfy recliner with a TV in front of me and a game playing. There was a headpiece next to me I put on. Immediately I could watch over a game like a disembodied spirit. And so I began analyzing the killers, the powers, perks, survivors, and the they hunt/survive. I was surprised at how normal she looked. Besides a spider-like form, she looked like a really pale woman of royal stature. We shake hands, and suddenly I was in a comfy recliner with a TV in front of me and a game playing. There was a headpiece next to me I put on. Immediately, I could watch over a game like a disembodied spirit. And so I began analyzing the killers, the powers, perks, survivors, and the they hunt/survive. So it doesn't know the entity identifies as female. I believe it will, but that warning can't be the only reason that you watch me. I have an aura of my own, Izuku. I want to grant you my power. I don't even want anything from you in return. What do you say? What of the entity's deal? I can't just back out of it now. I have a few abilities to escape the entity. You will have them as well. If the entity does cheat you and tries to keep you here, you will be able to escape. And if I tell the entity of her, I turn my head towards it and it doesn't disappear. This time, I don't care if you do or not, but if you do, it may back out of the deal with your yurts. The last few months wasted, I wouldn't care it wasted. I did improve my analysis on a more than strictly quirks, whatever do. You want my power or not? Take it, Izuku. I will keep to our agreement. I hear from the entity. She seems to be pleased. All right, then. I'll take it. Good. Pick me up, and you'll absorb me into your body. What's your name? I ask it as I pick it up. It turns into a vile black goo, white vein of lights stringing through it. Shadow Bonnie, I absorb it and feel the knowledge of the powers I gained enter my mind. Welp, I think I became pretty OP, but my weaknesses are fire and flashlights. What the sort of weakness is that? I transform through my various forms: Shadow Bonnie, Toy Bonnie, Springtrap, Helltrap, and Shadow Glitchtrap. When I return to human, I feel something was wrong. I look down and see a sort of suit that isn't quite a suit. I got a bad feeling about this, I mutter. You're completely erased from my senses, Izuku. I can't even interact with your space, the entity says, having appeared behind me. This suit thing looks heavily unstable, but I recognize it. To be blunt, you're how bad? This is a spring-locked suit endoskeleton that normally has a covering. The covering isn't here, but the eyes are just above your eyes. If it gets what it sets OU, if it isn't cranked before. Being worn a single movement will set it OU. What does that mean? I ask, betting frightened. It'll tighten and crush you. And it's not a painless death. It takes a few seconds to kill you. And seconds take forever when you're in pain. You know this for a fact. It's true when you're in immense pain. Time tends to slow to a crawl since your mind accelerates to a much faster speed than the others around you. Any chance of survival? Potentially, but I'll need to do something. You might not like what? She pulls something out of the air, a needle. Make you my son. For one, I'm near immortal, as long as I have food to eat. To do that, I'll need to inject my own raw power into you to both activate the blood to make you my son, but also to potentially adapt your power to be like mine. I'm actually not upset by that, do it? Mom, she sticks it into her own flesh and draws out a liquid like blight serum, then injects it into me. I move and feel the endoskeleton thing go you. I fall to the ground in agony, feeling everything screaming in pain. I'm on the ground as the entity panics slightly. She tries to help me, and I feel a warm, slimy worm of energy. It crawls off my body, and everywhere it goes, warmth of a humid, gross kind is left behind. It reaches my brain, and suddenly I feel a connection to the entity. I start in JRK a little, feeling the energy settle in my body a bit. Izuku, can you hear me? Why? Yeah, I hear you. My voice was glitchy and coarse. As time passes, I feel my very nature alter. Somehow I could feel that my very DNA was changing. After an undetermined amount of time, I managed to sit, then stand up. I then managed to will away the endo and stand as a regular person. That hurt like hell. I groan. Want to hear the good news? Or the bad news? Bad news can't be that much worse. Hit me. You're immortal in a way diurent to me. You literally cannot die until time itself is destroyed. The good news is that my power in you successfully made you my son and merged a bit with your new power, a hybrid between that destroyed form and my claws. Interesting. I think I like this despite the pain I had to go through. Mother, she gives me a hug. I hug her back. I could feel her happiness at being called Mother. It made me happy too. We have work to do, such as you adapting to these new powers and finishing your analysis before UA beginning. I chuckled darkly. The Hero Society has no idea what's coming its way. With my new forms, I could easily get my analysis of the games completed, accelerating my timetable to have a spare month, bringing my training time up to 3 months. The accident gave me the perfect physical fitness physique, so now I can beat most people without a quirk or ability, but I'll still use them for the scare factor. You have exceeded my expectations, Izuku, and as agreed, I have a gift for you. Mom grabs me by the hand, and suddenly we arrive in a familiar thorn thicket, back where we first struck our deal, Mom. Indeed, you know I have sub-realms of the games for lesser and lesser emotionally charged souls. I'm giving you one of my third-tier sub-realms, and it's sub-realms. I leap at her and hug her tightly. Thank you. She hugged me back. What I'm not giving you are killers or survivors. Those you collect yourself. This is the realm of thorns, labeled that, because it is a thorn in my butt. See, I sue her. On Halloween, no less, something I call the blight. This place is the only part of me that has the blight 24/7 and 365 days a year, giving me a continuous PRD like wrath. I blush at her wording, but nod along as I absorb the information. This throne, made of human skeletons? Sit in that and you take control of the realm. Gain powers identical to mine at a lesser degree since you aren't as old, nor as powerful as I yet. Your claws should be those you have for Infect Trap, a hybrid between your power and mine. I go to the throne and sit upon it. The bone hands leap from the chair and grab onto me. I don't panic as I know Mom wouldn't hurt me permanently or without a good reason. The hands grab on and dig into my body, tearing my apart and weave my organs through themselves. The pain is nowhere near as bad as a spring lock failure, so I can take it. So how does this help me gain control of the realm? The throne will take your flesh and blood, your essence, and infuse itself with it, become a more living entity rather than a boneless husk. My watch as my organs are stretched, torn, and heal before being torn again. Is it bad I find this amusing? I ask. Not. Really, you can't die, so you aren't afraid of death. Meaning, things that are normally painful and deadly for you bring out a more darker humor than most would understand. My organs stop getting 10 out, and I feel the hands shift to my bones. My bones, really? I ask as I force myself. Oh, you the throne. I fall, not having a skeleton to act as my frame tough that fixes easily. Blood is splattered all over. Andy can see it being drunk by the earth underneath me. Most but not all of my skull was removed, the back and top parts were taken, the rest held my brain to my body. I stand, eventually after healing the worst of it, my skull healing last. I feel my head is heavy and feel it. I got horns. I want a mirror and go to ask for one when one grows from the ground. Cracked and dirty. I try again and a better, cleaner, and newer one appeared. I look at my reflection and see a circlet of 7 horns growing from my head like a crown. Doing Izuku, that looks better than my one. Just will it away when you don't want to wear it. Mom compliments me. I decide to keep it for a while, get used to the weight. How long do you think it'll take for me to get used to being a realm lord? Realm lord? Since there's 2 of us now, we can't both be the entity. I'll be the realm lord, sure. I suspect a few weeks the realms are mostly intuitive, and as time passes you'll gain an understanding of it passively, so you won't need to practice with your abilities in here so much as the shadow Bonnie part of your powers want to hang around. And give me a few tips to get started, Mom? Or do you have some business to attend to? I can hang for a few hours. We could go killer hunting, unless you want to start with Survivor. Hunting. I think there's an abundance of killers in my world, but only a few I know of who will actually be able to adhere to the rules of the game. Oh, go on. There's this villain that's becoming popular. She likes to drain blood from her victims. Only, her victims die weeks before they disappear, so I've pegged her as a blood quirk transformation. I have a few ideas in her abilities. I pull out a notebook and open it to the right page. Name, Himiko Toga. Quirk blood. Transformation. Transforms the user into a person for as long as the blood is being digested. Drawback, blood hunger. Possible loadout, power, blood chameleon. She could transform into the appearance of any survivor and do anything a survivor can do. She cannot harm other survivors while transformed. Perk 1, blood library. Can keep the blood of her victims indefinitely when not transformed as that survivor. Perk 2, blood sight. After harming a survivor, they leave a blood trail for 10 seconds that glows in the darkness. Perk 3, hooked. If she has hooked any survivor, they become addicted to the pain. They cannot fully heal and leaves random blood splatters across the map to follow. Weapon knife. I hand the notebook to Mom, and she looks over it. Mom, not bad Izuku, someone with a natural longing for blood. What of her survivors? I'll let her pick them. It'll make her most eager to kill and become them if they're her choice. Mom looks impressed with me. You have exceeded my expectations on your first killer, Izuku. I'm beginning to think you were meant to be born like me. Let's go collect her. Ideas on her location? I have a few. She's normally described as being in a school uniform, so check the school areas for bloodlust. I open a gate to Earth, the knowledge on how popping into my mind as I require it. We're in the general area. She tends to hunt. Back alleys would be my bet. I explain as we exit the gate into a back alley. Immediately, I can sense different auras in a block's radius and identify what their meaning is. Female bloodlust to the left. Heading in our direction. A girl in a school uniform, blonde hair and yellow cat eyes appears. I have an oyer for you, Himiko Toga. I call as she sees us. I have an oyer for you, Himiko Toga. I call as she sees us. Who are you? She stands on guard seeing us. Mom stays quiet as she watches me handle this. Who I am is not important at this moment. What I can do for you, however, is I speak loudly and clearly with authority in my voice. What are you talking about? She seems curious. I know of a place you can kill people and drain them of their blood, have fun doing so, and not get into trouble for it. It comes with benefits and restrictions on it, however. I've piqued her interest. Explain. I have a pocket realm I am lord of. I am a godlike being within and control it. I am starting up a game my mother created in her realm, a hide-and-seek where there is a hunter and 4 survivors. You have to hunt the 4 survivors down and hook them on the various hooks around the play area, so to speak. If they fix the generators around the area, they escape. I wipe their memories and it restarts. If you win, every 10 games you win in a row, you get to pick a new survivor. I explain the basics of the game and show she'll have new abilities to help and how the survivors will have their own perks to help them win, to make it more difficult. You get to pick your first 4 survivors. Okay, I got a few: my mother, my brother, my first boyfriend, and the Quirk doctor who diagnosed me. I write down the names she tells me and smile, opening a portal to the realm of thorns, and we enter. Immediately, I see all her memories and construct a map for her, eerily similar to the outside, but with a few changes. I grant her the mini-map Mom's killers had for the hooks, generators, and gate. Then I alter her quirk to be a power. I add the perks and give her the innate knowledge of how they work. She hugs me, actual happiness and gratitude in her aura. I can understand why. Her quirk doctor told her mother how her quirk works but lied about the addiction part, saying she cannot be allowed blood unless it's to use her quirk. Her mother found out the truth on how she must drink blood to stay sane. She decided to continue what she was doing, and Himiko could feel as her sanity was lost, snapped. Her brother basically tortured her. Blood for her smelled like various types of food. He would put blood near her, but keep it just out of reach and keep it just out of her ability to get to torture her on top of her hunger. Her boyfriend, Wasa, great guy who supported and cared for her. He knew of her quirk and helped her with her sanity. He would allow her a small portion of his own blood. It kept her sane. She became reliant on him. SBMSSV to him. She did a lot for him. He manipulated her into being his pet. She found out he had an actual girlfriend and overheard him bragging to her about how he manipulated the villain of the school into being his pet and how easy it was. That was what broke her sanity. I come to realize she's crying into my shoulder and pet her hair soothingly. Sure, it's okay. You'll get your revenge and blood. I'll get their emotions. I sit her down and let Mom explain the emotion comment as I go track down her family members. I find her father first, in his house, getting drunk unhappily. Hello, Mr. Toga, I say behind him. What the? Who are you? How did you get in here? He pulls a gun. Neither's important right now. I just need to know the location of your wife and son. Then I'm tracking down the boyfriend and quirk. Doctor, his eyes light up in understanding. Is she okay? I explain about my realm and the games I'm setting up. It'd be great if you helped, but if you don't want to, I could just figure out how to find him myself. No. When I found out what happened, I divorced her mother and disowned the brat. I kept a record of the 4's movements since they hurt my baby girl so badly. Can you tell her I'm sorry? I didn't see the truth and that I love her. He hands me a stack of files. I'll be sure to. Thank you for the help. I return to my realm and sit at the table. I open the files and look over them. Interesting. Himiko, your father asked me to apologize to you about how he didn't see what was going on and that he loves you. I look up to look into her eyes. He truly cares about you, and I can tell even if he didn't say it. He wants to see you again. I can see a huge weight lift of her shoulders. For now, he divorced your mother and disowned the brat. We can get them. They've just gone to a new hotel and should be asleep. She picks up her new knife, a military-style knife, and gets up as I open a portal. No cutting yet, Himiko. Save it for the games. I'll keep the portal open and go get the doctor by myself. I do as I say and leave her. I head to the doctor's house and see him in bed. He's a diurent one to who diagnosed me. I transform in a spring trap and grab his throat, tossing him into the portal. I follow him and see Himiko with a pair of trussed-up people in blankets. I already got the boyfriend Mom says from behind me. Goody, we can start the first game if you'd like, Himiko. Or do you want to wait a few days and help collect other killers and survivors? I know a guy, Dobby, but his father is Endeavor and the only survivor he'd want to have, right? I'll leave him be, since he only hates his father. He can handle that himself. Other than that, I'd love a game before bed. She has a cheerful grin on her face as I send her to her starting point. I give the survivors their perks, give the base memory of the game, and send them in. How do you think they'll do? I ask Mom. Fairly bad. They have no experience, but even if you wipe their memories, the muscle memory remains and they learn. Making it fair, I bring up a set TVs and we watch from the third POV of each person. Why do I feel like she's my kid in a sense? I ask. Because her emotional maturity is that of a child, physical maturity of a teen, and mental maturity of an adult, if it helps. She feels the same and wants to do you proud. I watch as Himiko catches and takes down her brother first. She drags him to a hook, and I watch as it penetrates his shoulder hard. Oof, that was a good one, Inch Mom comments as I drag the corpse into the sky, leaving behind a bag of blood. For Himiko, nice drop. I was thinking of leaving bags around with their blood from the start, but decided one random blood bag at a random point of the map. I left this one where Himiko is about to pass. We watch as she comes across it and can see it flow red. She sees it as well and picks it up. I decide to inform her, opening a portal small enough not to be seen but can be heard through Himiko. During every game, there will be the blood of a random survivor placed at a different spot around the map. Also, your ex is dead. Check the hook. I close it and turn to Mom. It's a pity he dies first. His perk allowed him to bleed, and she would be distracted by it, allowing him 5 to 20 seconds to escape. The doctor is immune to her hooked perk, and her brother has a reverse perk. He makes her hunger for his blood to the point she'll ignore the others after hitting him and drawing blood. Her mother doesn't have a unique perk. You really have done well. I'm almost jealous. Don't try that, Mom. You have tons of unique and powerful killers, powers, and perks. I just used the basic ones they can all collect. The next one was the doctor who was hooked. The mother was the one to get him it, and they came across a disguised Himiko, pretending to be her ex, Jeremy. You're here too? Doctor asks. Of course I'm Philip. Anyone know why we're here? Himiko replies. Himiko brought us here. Anyone else? What of your son? Amanda? I think I saw Ronnie, but he vanished when I tried to catch up to him, Amanda says. Sadly, I heard screams earlier. Maybe she got him? Himiko suggests, faking a worried face. Maybe. Keep your guards up. I have no idea what she'll do next, Philip says. They split up. Always a bad move, and Himiko tracks down the doctor again. She jumps him and transforms to reveal herself, still clothed, and hooks him again. He dies this time, and she heads around a few generators. Finding a few had progress. She hits them, and they regress a bit. She finds her brother and mother paired up and cuts her maher while going after her brother and find herself enraged as she chases him. He lets out a squeal of terror. Did he just? Mom says. We lose our cool and howl with laughter while watching him. She kills him without a hook and goes back to where she heard her mother. She follows the trail and finds her at the generator. Nearby, she uses the blood bag drop and turns into her brother and runs, falling to the ground in a panic. DM it, Ronnie. You almost gave me a heart attack. Amanda whispers furiously. Sorry. I think I lost her though, Himiko responds. They work on the generator and fix it. Amanda turns around ahead to a diurent one when Himiko changes back and cuts her again. 'Tis time she falls into the dying state and is put on a hook. Each corpse is revived by the campfire and I erase their memories and reshuffle the perks. I absorb and eat the emotion gathered during the game, feeling myself grow more powerful. It felt amazing. I teleport Himiko here and she sits with 4 liters of blood and a happy smile, a look of peace on her face as she drank. So now, you experience your _Earth's game. I'll explain the 3 unique perks you saw or didn't see. Your ex had a perk that if you cut Hema ND, he escaped, to be hypnotized for 5 to 20 seconds. The doctor was immune to your hook perk, and your brother had a reverse perk, as I call it. Once you cut him, you were stuck chasing him, erased and hungering for his blood only. You get stuck in that state till either they escape or for 39 seconds. And my mother, she didn't have a unique perk, though I was thinking of a perk to see through your disguise. But instead, I'm telling you the perks and the fact they'll be shielded every round, add the disguise 1 too, at least 4. A little while for fairness. You seem awfully chill, even though you just killed 4 people. Mom says, I got a lot of baggage handled, and I have blood. I'm happy, and I'm happy to hear that Himiko, I've wiped their memories of the game, and after a few hours they'll be back in a relatively peaceful state for another round. I get to training in hand-to-hand combat with Himiko, who has a few good tips for me to learn. Side on for less area to be seen, turn with the punch for more force, be light on my feet for agility, and ground myself if I want to tank a hard blow. Great. Still to know. Basic stew, but useful to make a good foundation for fighting. Mom goes to oversee her stew, and Himiko has another round before bed. I eat and feel the amount a tad less than the last time. The emotional intensity is less, like Mom explained to me. For the next 3 months, Himiko and I train me for UA, and she gets 3 new survivors and a new perk in the mix. I also made contact with Nizu in this time, explaining the game and Himiko's part in it. He was all for it since it helped Himiko and punished the real villains without innocents being hurt. He also made me a new identity as William Afton, the son of Amelia Afton, widow of the late Carl Afton. I open a portal and walk into the gates of UA and walk straight to the auditorium. I haven't changed much in the last year, just taller, buer, but that muscle is heavily compact. And my eyes turn to white of my transformations. They now literally glow all the time from the amount of power I have. Mom explained she has fragments in her realms and opens up a new realm for each fragment. I'm not quite ready to fragment according to her, but another month should do the trick. But I don't need my eyes to see, so I can keep them shut and be perfectly fine with navigating. I sit in the auditorium listening to the presentation when some idiot interrupts. The presentation give a pro hero. And you, why are you keeping your eyes shut? Are you trying to sleep? You're not going to be a good hero with habits like sleeping during dash. I turn into shadow, glitch trap, and teleport in a flurry of glitching particles to stand in front of him. Well. Looky here, a brat with a stick up his butt. I keep my eyes closed because for people who first see my eyes, it could be a little bit unsettling, don't you think? I ask, opening them and revealing my 2 glowing white ball for eyes. He gulps and tries to put a brave face on. They aren't that intimidating. I decide to up the creepy factor, and I up my aura, making my teeth glow white. Then you have never seen sheer power in physical form before, have you? I hold so much power that it literally manifests as energy in my eyes, and I can't hide it besides closing them. And moving the energy does not help, just increases the surface area glow. He passes out. Sorry about that. He was annoying me. I call raining in my aura a scant 5%. I glitch in my seat and transform back, then close my eyes with a small knowing smirk. Eventually Present Mike stops, stuttering, and we get sent to our sites. I got Site B. Everyone on the bus was radiating such intense amounts of fear, I couldn't help but eat it. It caused them to calm down, but they saw my eyes brighten. It's all right, everyone. I'm just eating your fear. Both calms you and gives me more energy. There really is no need to fear me, though. My quirk just allows me to intimidate others easily, often without trying to a few calm, but the rest just increase in fear. Pathetic, most won't become heroes. We arrive, and I stay apart from the group, behind them, as someone slaps the blue kid awake. They carried him here then. The gates open, and I transform into shadow. Springtrap, running forward and leaping over the crowd. Locking eyes with Present Mike, who looked uncomfortable with me, but trying to hide it. I charge down the street. I easily demolish multiple robots before deciding to give the observing teachers a hunt of my power. I change into Infect Trap and bend over the body of a robot I destroyed. It loses most of its frame, turning into an animalistic shape as a rabbit comes out. It rises and bows to me. I'll call you Bonnie, go. Collect points from your old brethren. He has the Springtrap voice from the series just above. Bonnie nods and rushes down the street. I see him easily tear apart one of the 2 pointers and smirk mentally. I continue on and do the same to a few other bots, getting a Freddy, Chica, and Foxy. I kind of got hooked on F and F once I started checking out the lore a bit. Same for IRL me. It was toward the end of the exam when I felt a rumble in the ground and sigh. I wonder what that could be. I ask myself sarcastically. I turn and see the 0-pointer. It launches debris that trap a few people, one of which is a curvy girl. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy handle the trapped people. No hurting, just recovery. I'll handle the big 1-inch they rush forward towards those trapped by rubble as I pull my trump card. I call my realm to manifest within the universe. Here, I'm the god, I say smugly. I use my portal claws and wrap around and stab into the 0-pointer, then yank it back into the portal. In there I shred and tear at it with my claws. I spit it back out once the others are done rescuing those other examinees and sigh. I walk into the portal and overhear Nizu call over the intercom that I need to go take a nap and not to worry. It was just my quirk. I feel the others enter the portal and close it, collapsing on my throne as it connect by way of hands and organs and pass out. I open my eyes and get an update on the past week as I feel my eyes are glowing far stronger than before. Didn't expect that, Mom. Had come by, and upon seeing my new friends gathered a few survivors and got them to play the game. Dunno how she did that. Guess they wanted some bloodshed. I see Himiko laying on the floor and groan. She'd been there all week worried for my health. Himiko, I call, disconnecting from my throne. She sits up groggily and leaps at me. Papa. She hugs me tightly, and I freeze. I hug her back hesitantly and rub her back as she sobs. I was worried you were going to die. Then Entity appeared and explained you can't die, so I stayed to wait for you to. I did the UA exam and used my final trump card. It wiped me out of energy, so I had to recharge. Could you explain the Papa bit, though? I'm not complaining, but I just want to know why you called me by it. I say quickly as she gains a hurt expression. Because Papa helped me. You brought me here and understood me. Helped me get revenge and blood in a way people won't kill me for. Because Papa cares about me and acts like a papa. How on earth do I reply to that? Because Papa helped me. You brought me here and understood me. Helped me get revenge and blood in a way people won't kill me for. Because Papa cares about me and acts like a papa. How do I respond to a grown woman calling me Papa? I hug her back as I think it over and have a few ideas in the works. 1. I could let her call me Papa, and that's that. 2. I could say no, and we could be more siblings than parent-child. 3. I could get her to de-age her physically, so she can redo her life but keep her memories. While I'm happy you call me Papa, I got an idea. I say as we part. What are those, Papa? Even her speech pattern is diurent. Well, would you like to return to a younger body? Keep your memories, but be an actual child when you aren't. In a game, she looks confused, trying to work out what I was oyuring. So, make me 6 again. But I remember everything after that. Yes, but when you're in a game, you return to this age. Okay, she has a large grin. I wave my hand, and a fog flows from me. It falls and circles Himiko's Fet, slowly lifting and surrounding her body till she was enshrouded in fog. After a minute or two, the fog disperses, and 6-year-old girl was left in its place. She looks at herself and giggles a bit. Before jumping up, I catch her and put her on my shoulders, feeling a lot like a dad. So, what should we do today, Himiko? Find new killers. She squeals adorably. Very well then, Mom. Says I need to fragment once to be able to universe hop, but we could try America. I open a portal to America, and we walk out. Himiko has the same senses for aura as I do, so she can feel the Sheer killing intent this backwater town has. No wonder it was so easy to portal here at just specified killers. America, when I made it, I mutter. I sense the core of the killing intent and walk towards it. Half an hour passes before I find a house that screams killing intent and is abandoned. It's genderless and likes to hunt kids. Want to recruit this one Himiko? I ask. It's a toy of some kind. Okay. I set her down, and she walks into the door that was barely on its hinges. I keep an eye on her aura and head up the steps to the house. I hear a squeal of happiness and walk over to find a child Toga fighting a doll. I open my phone and Google killer dolls. I scroll before finding the right one. Why, Chucky, we got a deal for you, I call, stopping the fight. The you on about dash. I have some games of hide and seek. 1 killer hunting for survivors. If you manage to kill them all, you win, and it resets. They'll have no memory after each game. If they win, you get a punishment. He jumps at me, but I transform into Shadow Toy, and he phases through my body. What's in it for me? You get victims to kill, the thrill of hunt, and powers. What I get from it is food. I eat emotions. The games get me emotions. And will the girl be one of my survivors? Nope. She's a killer, but technically she was a teenager till recently. He appear unmoving for a moment before a smirk breaks out across his face. I'm in. I prefer children, though. I open a portal on the wall, and he walks in before us. I download the details of the game to him and the other killers, the current survivors, and give him his loadout. Name: Chucky. Weapon: kitchen knife. Power: here's Chucky. User can turn into any toy in the room and remain undetected, even if being watched, as long as they don't move. Once they are seen moving, they will turn back into their original form. When transforming back, they will say, here's Chucky. Perk 1. Lurking fear. You have the form of a toy, a normally inanimate object that kids adore. But that means nobody will suspect you. Whenever you are out of sight, the survivors will feel fear. Perk 2. Come play with me. Whenever a child is near you, they will feel the urge to come closer to you and pick you up. However, an adult will not be able to come near you without your presence being revealed to them. Perk 3. Silent toy. You are a toy and small, you make no sound, and leave no trail whenever you move, but you are fast. I add a symbol to the back of his neck, branding him so he cannot escape me no matter where he goes, and can only be removed by me. It also means should he be destroyed by someone or something, he will reappear in his arena. I add this to Himiko's wrist on the inside. It's a Springtrap head. I'll find some kids for you for now. Deal with adults. I construct his game arena and send him in, adding the 4 adult survivors. I open another portal, this time to my Japan home, and walk through with Himiko. This is my home in Japan. You can handle yourself. Should you die, you will reappear in your arena. I check the mail and find my UA letter. I open it and put the disc on the table as it activates. Hello, young Afton. I am here as a projection. Now straight to business. When I saw your information, I was shocked to see how villainous your quirk was and was about to disqualify you. However, then I saw how you saved those examinees from the 0-pointer. The makings of a true hero. So with a score of 95 villains points and 160 hero points, I welcome you to your hero academia. Almost disqualified for a villainous quirk? Don't make me laugh. Nizu overrode your decision. I spit at the hologram. I pull the paper from the envelope and see the details. I'm in 1A and have to pick up my uniform on the first day. I'll be in the dorms after the first day, and I need to send in my hero outfit design. I don't need an outfit design. I am the design. I return to the realm of thorns and eat the emotions that's gathered from my games, feeling the energy fill me. I know I'm ready. I return to the realm of thorns and eat the emotions that's gathered from my games, feeling the energy fill me. I know I'm ready. Mom, I think I have enough to fragment. I send down a telepathic link. She appears, and I feel her scan me. You are ready to fragment. Will be painful for a while since it's a new experience, like a muscle. I feel her mind reach towards mine and push a bit of information into my mind. I can feel as my body wants to tear apart as this information takes its place in my mind. 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 10 seconds. I can feel as my body tears. It's a burning, stabbing feeling. My body is splitting physically and mentally. The mental pain is what she must have meant. I can't properly describe it. It's painful, but as my mind is torn into, it's repairing itself quickly, so the pain isn't as bad as it could be. Falling to the ground, I feel my regeneration kick in and heal the literal half of my body that was torn. I'm experiencing existence from two sides. In one, the fragment's view is a bit dumber than mine. This is confusing. I say from the original body. I'm the original. I lessen the connection between us and feel myself center in my original body. I stand and look at Mom, who had tears in her eyes. I feel so proud. My baby's first fragment. She jumps and brings both of us in for a hug, and we hug her back. Now, I'm going to take you to my favorite universe haunt for killers. I look to my copy, and he nods as he backs OU from the hug with me and goes to observe the games. Mom opens a weird wormhole-looking thing. I file that information away for later use. Relax, Izuku. It makes the journey easier, Mom says as we get sucked into the wormhole. It spits us out, and I fly into a wall. Oof. Ugh. Not my favorite way to travel. I groan, feeling nauseous. It takes a bit of getting used to, but it's quick. That felt like hours, but the original way I traveled was literally swimming through the void. Not a fun experience since it took years. To get any sort of distance, I expand my senses and can feel many pockets of killing intent. Around the country, my range is boosted. What type would you like to add to your games this time, Izuku? First I had Himiko, then the band just added Chucky. Serial Vamp Killer. Animatronic Band Killer Doll. Maybe something more monstrous. I have the perfect choice. A Demogorgon hive is in Canada around this time of year. They enjoy my visits. I change into Shadow Toy and Shadow Step, following Mom's signature to Canada. It was a mountain town. Area with heavy forest area and rocky places for caves and losing pursuers. Mom lets OUA scream. It was definitely not human. I translated it to, I have returned for new players. For a moment it surprised me, but then I remember that languages are no boundary for me. Mom's learned and transferred all of them to me. How do I speak to them? I doubt I can speak. Demogorgon. I whisper, knowing a Demogorgon's hearing wouldn't catch it yet. I gave you the innate ability to translate all the languages in existence, including the ability to speak them. It may be a bit rough on the throat at first, but you'll adapt. I hear a wall of noise in return. Screeches as a herd of Demogorgons arrive. Entity, it has been a fairly long time since you last visited. I smell there are two here. The biggest one says, snewing around. I have adopted a child as my own. He has his own games, though, new as of this past 4 months. Already has 6 killers thus far. He has had his first fragmenting. I brought him before you for a 7th killer and to anchor to this world a youngling. Any volunteers? He calls into the herd. How about me? One male asks, much smaller with a younger voice, a teen. Perhaps. I look him up and down and smile. Physical. Fitness level looks fair for a Demogorgon. Teeth look like they've been well managed. What's your hearing like? I can hear a mouse heartbeat from 30 meters, reasonably high, then, what sort of survivor do you prefer? Smart. I like hunting the smart ones we find. Tricky, and actually puts up a challenge. So, a military veteran. I have a few ideas on that. What's your name? We don't have names. Demogorgon will sue us. We can sense the intent you have of who you're trying to communicate with. I think you'll do well in the games, pal. You're in. Anyone you want to bring with you. Another Demogorgon steps forward to speak. A female. I'm going. 2. We're mates. I have the same survivor preferences to him, she says. Okay. I open a portal, and they head into it. It's a realm of thorns, sub-realm for this world, anchoring my existence. Here. I open a wormhole between here and my home world that is self-powering, using its own gravitational force to generate power to keep itself open. It's a diurent setup to Mom. She keeps her realms separate, but I want my killers to have a life outside of the games if they longing it. Thank you all for your consideration. I'll be coming back and forth between these worlds so I may visit again. I inject thanks and humbleness into my tone as I shadow step to another place. I wanted to go. I come out into a military base prison. I'd sensed the killing intent here and felt the masculine and calculating aura. I peek into their minds as I spoke to the Demogorgons. Let me know try were the type they liked. I snatched them with a few portals. There were a few dumbo, ES, and a few smart in the mix. I also randomly collect various everyday survivors and a few German children that had heavy conditioning from their orphanage to be horrible people. I knew they couldn't be deconditioned, so they'll be for Chucky. After a hard day's work fragmenting and getting new killers, I head home and my fragment takes over the subrealm. He'll be feeding me the emotions as they come. I walk into the UA Classroom 1A and hear the racket there making. I see the blue-hair boy trying to get the Bakugo twins to put their feet down and mentally smirk. He'll probably give up. My arrival sets OU a wave of heads turning towards me, and I see I'm last in arriving. Who are you? The girl I saved asks. The name's William Afton, but you might recognize one of my other forms I stead. I transform into Shadow Toy, and she gasps. You're the one that saved me from the zero-pointer. It was nothing. I want to test out my ace. And you provided the perfect opportunity. I go to my seat and stay quiet, locking eyes with Aizawa. They go back to talking, and the bell goes. Aizawa gets up and scares them. You'd all be dead right now if I wanted to kill you. I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Get on your PE. Outfits. We'll be doing a quirk analysis. I pass him and grab the outfit he hands me. I shadow step once I was out of sight, in and out of the change rooms quickly, and arrive at the field when Aizawa arrives at the field. I won't be going all out in this, Aizawa. I know my limits and would prefer not to miss the first week of school. I open a portal and pull out a notebook I made on my powers and hand it to him. There's also the fact by this time next week, I'll be stronger than now. So this test is useless for me. I progress too fast. Nizu explained that to me and about your games. I don't understand how you convinced not to turn you in, but as long as your killers are restricted to the arena's boundaries, I'm not too troubled. It keeps them away from civilians. I nod in understanding and take a spot to the side as I wait for the rest of the class. They arrive. After 10 minutes pass, and Aizawa is not happy. You idiots took 10 minutes to get ready, and here, in that time the villains committed the crime, killed the innocents, and escaped before you. 21 even arrived. You need to be faster. What about the quiet one? You didn't count him in with the rest of us, Izumi asks. He got here before even I did. As far as I'm concerned, he's quick enough. We got started, and I quickly make a name for myself by outdoing most of them. For the 50-meter sprint, I shadow step. For the long and high jump, I transform and fly. Grip strength, I get a nice 150 pounds of force. Side to side, I simply glitch as shadow glitch. Endurance run, I was told not to participate as I turned into Shadow Toy. Then I was last for the ball throw. Beat that, you bucket of bolts. Katsuki screams in anger/happiness as he gets the best, besides the girl I saved, Ochako Uraraka. Easy, I mock. I step in the circle and transform into Shadow Toy and detach my arm as I hold the ball. I send my arm away and turn to look Katsuki in the eye, dropping the ball exactly 1 meter ahead of his, and my arm races back to attach to my shoulder again. Beat that, you explosive Pomeranian, I sass. Izumi, Katsumi, and Katsuki all react in rage, launching forward with their quirks. Izumi and Katsumi are stopped as their quirks deactivate and they faceplant. Katsuki reaches me as I've changed back, and I accept the explosion to the face. A cloud of sand and dust is kicked up, and the ground shatters behind me as the kinetic force of the explosion reaches it. The ground didn't shatter earlier as the kinetic force was directed into the air and on the ball. This time, it was facing my head from above and continued after destroying my head. The cloud settles, and my headless body is revealed. My head is on the ground, and I can still hear with my ears, despite technically looking dead. I can hear screams of horror and disgust from the class, but I hear cackling from the three who tried/succeed in attacking me. Bakugo, you're going to prison for th dash. I cut Aizawa OU from the ground. Don't bother, Aizawa. All Might is backing those three. Nizu couldn't send them to prison without All Might interfering and calling me a villain who tried to kill him. As everyone watched, I grow my entity claws from my neck and scuttled like a crab up my body and onto my neck again, where I heal. I crack my neck with a sigh of relief. I had a crick in my neck, thanks for the help, Pomeranian. He just growls in rage at my survival. I smirk. Afton, how? Aizawa asks, with a face full of shock. Hyper-regeneration. My dying cells heal faster than they die. It's pretty hard to kill me. I roll my shoulders and work out my muscles as I return to the class group. You need to be seen by Recovery Girl, Aizawa tries. I'm fine. Go see her now, or I drag you there, I groan and walk towards the school in a fuss. I'm immortal. I can't die from something as simple as losing my head. I walk into the infirmary, where Recovery Girl was looking at a blonde guy who had some strange-looking eyes. They were blue ovals without the rest of it. My name is Mirio. What you in for? He asks. William Afton. My head was blown. Oh, you my shoulders, you. I was phasing through a wall, and my quirk didn't fully work. He lifts his arm, where a section of concrete was still stuck. Recovery Girl comes over and sees the blood around my neck. What happened to you, kid? Head got blown OU by an explosion, quirk. Aizawa's class. What? She ran me through a battery of tests as I grumble about being fine. Mirio just sat there watching. Once the concrete was removed, he had this look in his eye that seemed interested in me for some reason. I managed to get back to class and gave Present Mike a note from Recovery Girl and took my seat. I was back in my regular uniform and waved OU everyone's concerned looks. The day keeps going, and once it ended, I stepped to the dorms and waited for the class. Inside, I have my notebooks and set them on the shelf in my room. I have a few figurines of my killers that are like the real things, in the size of a toothpick-sized figurine. They can move and make noises like the real things, but aren't self-aware and move in a loop. For example, the Demogorgon figurine dives forward and slashes at an invisible victim, screeching into the air, while opening its head to reveal the teeth. Once it stops screeching, it moves back to the original position like it's jumping back from an attack. Of course, if I actually interact with them, they act like their own beings and run/climb across my body. My door is knocked on, and I open it to see Tokoyami, the bird-headed boy with the dark shadow bird quirk. What is it? I came to see if you are all right. You emanate a dark aura of death. I'm fine. Recovery Girl didn't find anything wrong. Also don't need to eat food, so don't dish up for me. I close the door. Rude, I know, but I'm going underground, so the less people who know me, the better. They'll die before me. Anyways, the week passes as I blow OU the rest of the class, further riling up Izumi and the Bakugo twins at my acting as if I'm better than them. They demanded I explain myself once when we were in class, and I simply explained I'm going to be an underground hero, and they left it alone. Except those three. I sit in the back of class like usual. People rarely hear me talk, since I don't have a reason to do so. I'm playing with the Demogorgon figurine when I hear heavy stomping coming down the hall. I am here, coming through the door like a hero. All Might calls, getting cheers and exclamations of excitement. More like a dumb, but who comes through a door and uses it to hold themselves up in a hero situation. You break the door down and use the surprise to get the drop on the villains. I call, interrupting everyone. Don't disrespect my father, you bucket of bolts. Izumi screeches. Firstly, bucket of bolts isn't an insult, not really, and second, I can disrespect anyone I want, especially since that wanted to bar me from entering UA for my quirk alone. My voice seemed pleasant, but it had an underlying tone of be careful with your next words. The class looked back and forth before taking the predictable side. Izumi, since she's on All Might's side. Enough. No need to fight, we're about to do enough of that. All Might takes the place of a benevolent man. Get your hero suits on and meet at Ground Alpha for combat training. The wall opens up, and 21 cases appear. I shadow step to the field and open a portal to my realm where I got changed. I'm wearing a pair of leather pants and a shirt with a leather jacket under a trench coat. My head in free with a pair of inverted goggles to keep my eyes hidden when they end up glowing. I have combat boots and a belt with a bunch of toys on it when I come back out, flicking the trench coat's hood up. I wait in a shadow as I let my crown take its rightful place, growing from my skull and flesh. Rest arrive, and All Might takes roll call to make sure everyone had arrived. I pull my energy in my eyes for the final act and close them. William Afton, here. I step from the shadows, startling a few, and open my eyes under the hood. Remove that hood, young man. I reach my hands up and pull the hood slowly and let a smirk spread my face as my hair, slicked back, shows my crown to be growing from my skin. Afton, what's with those horns? Kirishima asks. It's a crown. My skull grows a crown of bone horns. I have a throne and everything. I can tell everyone was unsettled by my eyes and crown. All Might coughs for attention and explains that we'll be doing a King of the Hill exercise. I was chosen as king, and the reward of beating me was a signature from him. I got on the hill in question, and sigh, what a pain in the butt that is setting my class against me from the beginning. You will pay for disrespecting All Might, was the battle cry. I transform into Shadow Bonnie and punch a glacier from Todoroki, shattering it and sending the debris back. You cannot defeat me, so give up. I roar. A few are deterred by my show of power like Zero, tape elbows. Can't really beat something that can punch a glacier back at the center. A laser flies over my shoulder. I turn around to focus my attention on Aoyama, who suddenly looked terrified. I launch my arm at him, and a punch to the gut sets him out of the fight. I duck under an explosion and punch Katsumi with my other arm as the first resets on my shoulder. I use that arm to block a second explosion and launch, both to force the twins away as Sato and Tsu try a tag team. I jump over her tongue as it hits Sato in the face. He grabs it in reflex, trapping her, and I kick her in the face, my clawed foot scraping her face as she rolls down the hill, unconscious. Sato had released her tongue just as I hit her face, but I flip on my other foot to uppercut him. He flies through the air to land on Kirishima, who was trapped beneath his massive form. You idiots don't have any fighting style. I yell, shut up, you villain. Izumi yells, launching rocks at me that bounce OU with a few tings. I block a tail, grab it, and use Ojiro as a club against Ida and let him fly in a newly free Kirishima who wasn't hardened. An apparently useless slap takes out Hagakure, and I'm stuck in solace as Izumi gets a hold of me with her telekinesis and throws a punch full of power. I transform to human as it makes me fly back, and I catch myself in the air with a portal and go through a second fully healed to punch Izumi in the noggin. The rest of the class falls similarly, but I full-on knock out Dark Shadow, showing my existence as a form of darkness. I'm last man standing as king of the hill. Everyone wakes up at various times and had collected others to head over to All Might. Recovery Girl was there and was healing everyone who needed it. I shadow stepped to the ground in front of All Might and Recovery Girl. That was a nice workout. I smile brightly, making All Might growl in anger. Nobody besides Tokoyami would speak to me for the rest of the day after the sound thrashing I gave them. The next day dawns, bright and early. I, of course, head to class and wait like usual. The day is OU to a slow start as Izumi rushes in late, and the only thing that happens to mess it up is the press breaking into the school grounds to get an interview with All Might. Dumbass. After that exciting incident, which happened during lunch, we had heroics class again, This time, Izawa greeted us. 7:50. 8:20, we got on the bus, and I was in the back in a corner. Nobody was within 2 seats of me. They were teasing and messing about like idiots. We arrive, and Uraraka was acting like I used to. Act around heroes when she saw 13. 13 have a speech about the dangers of quirks and how they can easily kill. That's a no-brainer. I'm surprised that you didn't figure that out before. Turning yourself into dust 13-inch I call. What? It was simple to figure out. You would have never been allowed to use your quirk before getting special support gear due to your quirk's nature. But kids are idiots, and you would have used it, survived thanks to that suit you currently wear, and now can never have a family due to the fact you can never kiss or have physical relations with them. 13 stood in silence. I mean, it wasn't hard since I've never seen you without the suit before, and that one time your faceplate did crack. You acted like you were about to die on camera. Your quirk is either that or you're a literal black hole and live as a hole in a spacesuit. To protect the world from you, since they can't euthanize you, 13 went and crouched in a corner. And I could hear sobbing from the suit. Izawa looks at me funny, but doesn't mention it. I sense killing intent. Izawa, we got bogeys, I say and transform into shadow toy. I stand at the top of the stairs and use a portal to get everyone 07T of the building besides Izawa and myself. You really tore into 13 back there. What was that about? She killed her first human around the time I was 6. She was my only friend. I only got my quirk a few months before the entrance exam, so you can figure out what my life was like. A few hundred villains come from the warp gate. We thought there was meant to be a class here. And where is All Might? A villain covered in hands. Calls. I sent them away. All Might hasn't arrived yet. Leave, or I end you all. I release my aura at 7% and direct it towards them. You can't beat our numbers, fool. Permission to eliminate? You sure you can take them? I look at him like he was nuts. Alone? No, with my killers? Definitely. He stares for a moment in contemplation before nodding. Call them. I open a portal. And out comes Himiko, Chucky, the Demogorgons, and the band. Kill them all. Happy hunting. The lot of them cheer and jump. OU he stares, charging madly. My fragment comes out of the portal and joins them. Was that me? When I gain too much power, I can fragment myself. That is my first fragment. I'll need to do it again after this feast of emotional energy. I look at him with a smirk. Keep those eyes on the warp gate. I jump from the stairs and plunge into the massacre. Chucky was jumping from villain to villain on their heads as he stabs and cuts. Himiko was hitting the vitals and making them bleed as much as she can. The band was jump, scaring and killing as they ran around, and the Demogorgons, they were feasting. My fragment wasn't fighting, but rather decided to collect the emotional energy from the area as I do the same. I feel my fragmentation start and make it quick, tearing in half, much to the horror of the villains watching. As with the first, my second fragment begins eating, and I join the massacre. I change to my Shadow Bonnie form and bit the face of one guy clean. OU. As each villain gets close to death, I pull them into a portal to be healed and join a campfire to get the choice of either becoming a killer or a survivor. As the ranks in, I can feel the fear and rage increasing from the stragglers and the handjob villain. No, you're ruining everything. And Nomu, kill them. Handjob screams. Nomu rushes forward and tries to hit Himiko. She manages to duck. And I see red. I shadow step and swap our places, uppercutting the Nomu in the face. It barely lifts OU the ground. I drop into a portal and close it as I come out next to Himiko. Get out of here. Himiko, a shapeshifter, is no match for that thing. Oki Papa, she leaves through the portal, and I collect Chucky and the band at the same time, leaving the Demogorgons and my fragments. Speaking of which, I fragment again, hundreds of people's emotions, fear, rage, terror, and pain. It was enough for 2 fragments in a day. Demogorgons, that thing has shock, absorption, and hyper-regeneration, as well as enhanced physical ability. Want to take it? It's dumb. Nah. You can enjoy this one. I let them leave to the realm of thorns and smirk as my. Now 3 fragments line up next to me. I turn human with them, and only I have my crown. Happy hunting, boys, we say. It was over in a mere moment. I was Shadow Infectrap. Number 2 was Shadow Bonnie. Number 3 was Shadow Glitch. Number 4 was Shadow Springtrap. SG glitched to Izawa. SB went for the arms and locked them behind its back. SS took the legs. I went for the head and released one of my infector spiders into its mouth, cutting OU the old connection between it and the mastermind behind handjob. We release it and it kneels to me. Good boy, kill the one. With the hands, it charges and takes a swing at handjob, but he grabs it and it turns to dust. We shadow step to Izawa as they warp away. My fragments return to the realm of thorns to open their own sub-realms to govern and divide my new killers into. That was fun, you'll be explaining just what happened down there to the faculty Afton, of course, as long as All Might is not there. He has already displayed multiple times that he finds me unfit to be a hero for my Quirk. I'll send notice to Nizu. We walk out of the USJ to find a class ready to fight, and I am actually impressed. You're all ready to fight instead of relaxing. Stupid, but understandable. Izawa states. What happened in there, sir? Yaoyorozu asks. I dealt with the villains. Now I have to explain myself to the teachers. I'll open a portal to get you all to the dorms. I open a portal. Keep your eyes shut. My quirk revolves around horror, so the things you'll see are horrifying. They all walk through. I groan and wrap the area the portals are in. Darkness and fog. I grab a hold of the 2 teachers and shadow step to the main building at UA. Let's get this over with. I follow them into the building and to a conference room of teachers. We're already in. UA has been closed down Afton. Students are back in their dorms. After the attack, we felt it necessary to protect the students. Nizu explains when I look to him inquiring. About classes. All right. Now do you all know why you are here? I ask as I stand at the end of the table and pull out my phone and connect it to the TV. According to NEZU, you foiled the villain attack, Tashinori says. I did. Nizu, why is the Quirkist teacher here? I'm not. Quirkist, you said you were going to disqualify me from attending UA because of my villainous quirk on my acceptance letter. Then I said that since you showed actual heroic material, I decided against it. I know Nizu overrode your decision to disqualify me. I've been in touch with him for months now. Anyways, I did foil the attack, but I did it in a way that most would arrest me for. I used a part of my quirk only Nizu and Izawa know of. Let him listen, Afton. Tuesday, others will tell him anyways. Nizu says from the end of the table. You killed them. Midnight asks, shocked. Yes, but they're still alive. I sent them into my quirk and respawned them. I have a game in my quirk. My quirk is a realm called Realm of Thorns. Inside it, I am God. I have a game called Hide and Seek, more commonly known by the participants as Dead by Daylight. That sounds scary. What is it about? Mike asks, looking at Edge. I have 5 people in each arena, 1 called a killer and 4 called survivors. They need to avoid the killer and fix generators around the game area. Once those and fix the exit gate is opened and the survivors escape. To win, what if they can't avoid the killer? The killer kills them, they die, and I erase the game from their memories and return them to the campfire, a safe haven to recover. I eat the emotions they feel during the game. Sorry, did you say kill? Then you bring them back to life. Yep, but they have to have my brand on them. Otherwise it won't work. I connect to the TV and show my brand before bringing up Himiko's most recent game. Is that Himiko Toga? Midnight asks. Himiko, Afton, you mean? I adopted her. She takes the form of a child around me and calls me Papa. She was abused mentally and emotionally due to her quirk. She needs blood to stay sane, but she was never allowed to have it. So I recruited her and her survivors. Her mother, who ignored her needs. Her brother, who taunted her with blood. The doctor, who lied about her need for blood. And her ex-boyfriend, who manipulated her by letting her drink his blood for favors. Controlling her, I let them watch the game in silence, explaining each part of the game as it shows up. I also explained the perks and powers. So you at least give the survivors a chance to counter her. Yep, it also gives me more food. You mentioned earlier that you eat the emotions. What do you mean? I literally eat emotions. Mom eats them to live and grow stronger. I eat them to grow stronger. I don't need to eat to sustain myself. The more intense, the better. The games create killer's rage, survivor's fear of death, desperation to survive, and hope to escape. So what would you say your power level is? Considering I just beat a creature designed to kill all might with my fragments and a dysfunctional army of villains. With my killers, pretty untouchable. The teachers look at me in fear and look scared. All Might, Nizu and Aizawa look unperturbed. I can beat you any day of the week, young Afton. No, you literally can't. Most would give up for fear of pain, the rest because they don't want to die. I cannot die, and my pain tolerance is astronomical. I finish explaining the game, and then someone asked the question I was they'd ask. Where are those claws? Cementos asks. Those are me. There's a diurent me in every sub-realm of the Realm of Thorns. When I gain enough energy, I can divide my power and fragment, literally split in half physically, mentally, and emotionally, but all connected to a hive mind. I open a portal and the fragments come out. I am number 1, the first fragment. I'm number 2, the second fragment. I'm number 3, the third fragment. I am number 4, the fourth fragment. I grow my crown, having retracted it for the explanation. I am William Afton, the original body, and Lord of the Realm of Thorns, son of the entity, and the one of the two people you don't want to PSSOU. I open a portal and the fragments come out. I am number 1, the first fragment. I am number 2, the second fragment. I am number 3, the third fragment. I am number 4, the fourth fragment. I grow my crown, having retracted it for the explanation. I am William Afton, the original body, and Lord of the Realm of Thorns, son of the entity, and the one of the two. People you don't want to PSSOU. They sit there stunned for a moment to digest my announcement. Nice crown kiddo, Mike calls. Thanks, got it after having my entire skeleton ripped out, except for the face of my skull. I smile, showing I'm not upset by the fact he didn't. No, it didn't hurt so much as it was disorienting. Super pain tolerance is nice, being a pile of flesh, not so much. Anyways, I'm heading into my core realm to make killers or survivors. From today's villains, the 5 of me walk through the still open portal and it closes behind me. So what did you tell them? Mom asks. Most of the basics, Stu, but I only said you are my mother and more powerful than me. Oh, and unlike you, I don't need the emotions to survive. How do you think they took it? I don't know really. Mike was the first to speak and commented on my nice crown. I think a few will call for an arrest warrant, but I can just vanish to the killer. Ground's world should I have to. Always good to have a backup plan, Izuku. Anyways, I came to visit because you need new worlds for your new fragments to link to, otherwise they'll fade. Okay, how about some more exotic planet types? Mom tapped her chin for a moment before snapping her fingers and opening a warp gate and walking through. I follow and find Mom had brought me to a city that looked like it was made of smog and industrial buildings. This is a city. You may be familiar with Gotham. Wait, as in Batman. Yep, but I was thinking we take some of his villains while we're here. I was almost giddy with excitement and open a portal, and my fragment heads into it. It's another realm of Thorn sub-realm for this world, anchoring my existence here as well. I open the wormhole between here and my home world, before letting it seal and expanding my senses. Let's see. I don't think I want Joker. He'll be demanding for Batman as his survivor. Captain Freeze isn't so much a villain so much as an anti-nice guy. Killer Croc. He's in the sewers. I'll get him later. Found you. Scarecrow. A shadow stepped to him, knowing Mom will be observing from a distance. Who the hell are you? Scarecrow demands, waving his needles threateningly. I'm someone who has an OUE for you. I'm from a diurent dimension. I have these games I think you'll find quite enjoyable. 1 killer, 4 survivors. a power and 3 perks to go with your fear toxin, and the survivors will have perks to resist. Interested? I ask, letting OU a sinister aura. Why? Did you choose me of all the villains in Gotham? I'll also be going to Croc, but Joker's too. Demanding, he'll want Batman as his survivor, Catwoman's a Robin Hood, Penguin's annoying, Captain Freeze isn't a villain so much as he just wants a cure. Clayface I'm thinking on. Ivy is, too, plant fanatical, and Harley is too dumb. What a Bane. And the rest. Bane. To make the game's equal, I'll have to weaken him a fair bit. I don't think he'd like that. The rest are mostly just irritating. He seems to ponder my words. You get to really show people fear in the games. Some will be able to resist like Batman, and others will be immune. It'll be fun, won't it? He nods and holds out his left hand, the one without needles. I shake it and burn my brand into his neck, sending him through to his arena and let my fragment handle the rest. Next, I step to Killer Croc. I grab a rock and toss it into the water and move away. He rises up and explodes from the water. You will be my next meal, human. He growls. He phases through my body. Now, Croc, I got a deal for you. I am able to create these games, 1 killer for survivors. If you join me, two will be allowed to eat the survivors you catch after each game. Should you win and get them all 10 times in a row, I'll let you out to torment Batman for a fortnight. He looks at me, snewing deeply, and memorizing my scent. I like the sound of that. You have a deal. I shake his hand and brand him too. And like with all the rest, let the information about the games enter his mind. These perks are interesting. I assume there will be a survivor who's untrackable. Yep, soundless. Scentless, cold-blooded will be your survivor's perks. And your map will have hooks with bait. Hidden about the map to hook you and trap you temporarily, that 1 perk will cause you to find. Irresistible, he nodded approvingly. A true hunt. Thank you. He heads through the portal, and I teleport to the last killer I want. I arrive in a bell tower and slam an animatronic fist into the bell, causing Man-Bat to appear. You are not Batman. Why have you disturbed my slumber? He demanded. I wanted to ask if you were interested in a series of games, allowing you to kill as you longing with limitations and benefits. He held out a hand, and I shook it, repeating the same process as the last 2, sending him away before returning to Mom. I got 3 interesting killers, Scarecrow, Killer Croc, and Man-Bat. Nice choices, not Clayface. Now, all he wants is to be his real self. He's a criminal because of how nobody will help him. He doesn't kill because he enjoys it. It's just business. We vanish into another wormhole and reappear in a factory. Where's this? Poppy playtime. The workers here were turned into the toys, their organs, shoved into the shells of toys similar to how she'd ended up in the animatronics of Five Nights at Freddy's. Really? How peculiar. There's 1 person running around with a grab pack on, trying to fix the issue. Free the trapped workers, stop the experiments. Most of the toys are monstrous, no intelligence, a lust to feed on flesh. Huggy Wuggy doesn't need to eat, and is a tall blue furry toy. Mommy Longlegs is a self-aware, stretchy arm and leg pink toy. Boxy Boo is a jack-in-the-box. Boogie Bot, small green electronic robot. Kissy Missy, a pink-friendly version of Huggy, and Poppy, a porcelain doll with blue eyes and red hair. She is using the one with the grab pack to help the rest, but is forcing him to do so. I don't like Poppy. Kissy sounds nice, and Mommy seems useful in the games. I think they'll all, besides Poppy, have a place in the arenas, so I begin to wander the factory. I found Huggy first, and it took a few tries to suppress the hunger enough to get to the man behind it, who eagerly joined. Mommy Longlegs just wanted to look after children, so I agreed her victims would be child abusers. Boxy Boo joined after a short conversation, and Kissy Missy joined too, as a secondary killer that appears when a perk is activated to distract Huggy. I got all the Huggy Wuggies and other toys to join me, and hunted down the prototype, destroying that amalgamation of horror. I did grab Poppy and the player guide to make them survivors in the games. Player was granted a luck perk and escaped, so if He's being chased, he should escape most of the time. I like the guy. I decided to anchor to this Earth despite having removed the juicy horror story from it, in case more pop up. After the hectic day, I return home, falling back on my couch and making myself go to sleep. I walk into school. Be a week later, as if nothing happened, and I can feel the tension. Homeroom seemed fine, but I could feel the stares if the others, likely since I stopped the attack. English was fine, Mike seems cool about me. We had some Mentos for calculus, and he seemed indifferent, pretending that I wasn't in the room. Better than blatant anger. After lunch was heroics class, and I say in my seat, bored, playing with a fidget cube. In an explosion of wood, the door is bashed the wall, and I lock onto All Might charging at his full speed towards me. He slaps cues down at me, and I casually shift my hands, just enough his hand goes through my desk. I told you, I beat a bioengineered opponent made to kill you. Of course I can keep up with you, All Might, I sigh. He moves again and grabs my face. Throwing me at the wall, I impact and feel myself flatten in an explosion of gore. The class screams in horror as I hang there, my body stuck to the wall, my bones partially embedded in it. That all you got? I ask, bending at the waist and step from the human-shaped hole. Most of my guts are spread across the wall, sand my clothes were shredded. From the instant I was in the air, the friction tearing them apart. You are under arrest for mass murder, William Afton. Do not resist. My guts hang loose and don't seem to really pull back into my body while my skin heals around them. I ignore All Might. This won't do. I tut. My hands grip my stomach, and in full view of the class, I rip them out of my body. The class screams again, and I nod, satisfied as my stomach heals over and my stomach grows in my body again. Much better. Now, as I was trying to say, All Might, I beat a bioengineered being, designed to kill you, and would have been capable. Not only that, but I am immortal. There is nothing I won't come back from, stronger than before. The fact you consider yourself capable of beating me is laughable at best, simply because destroying my body to the point no atoms remain will just make me take over one of my fragments. And if I can't live in this world, I'll go to another Earth. I catch the fist he throws at me. He uses the chance to cue my wrist and smirks triumphantly. Your quirk is disabled now. Best do as you're told. These cues cannot hold a trans-dimensional being. I chuckle. I turn into Shadow Toy Bonnie and phase out of the queue to his shock. Right now I'm impermeable, so you can't touch me, and I could travel through any shadow to any place I want. Care to stop this nonsense and start class? He still tries to punch me, his hand going through my head and destroying the wall to the outside of the building. You can hear, right? Because I just explained that noting can touch me at the moment, Mirio. Now, I turn and see a blonde boy leaping at me and let my limbs and joints all disconnect, letting him hit my hand, which he takes with him. Permeation quirk for a permeation user. Interesting. No matter, I changed my hand to solid and back so it went through Mirio's body and reclaimed it. I must say, you do understand what you can't do, but can you fight against more than one untouchable foe? I call fragment number 1, who comes out in animatronic form. Thank you for joining us on this journey through What If Deku Entered Dead by Daylight. We hope you found it as captivating as we did. A big thank you to Springtrap 21233324, creating such an engaging story. Don't forget to visit their profile on Wattpad for more fantastic works. The link is in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Zen and Fanfics for more intriguing explorations into fanfiction and fantasy. Your support helps us create more content like this, and we love hearing your thoughts and suggestions in the comments section. See you soon in the next video.